Hi guys, this is E from Ovaniz and today we're going to make a baseball player fondant figure. So let's get started. For today's tutorial we will need a styrofoam base, 2 skewers, 180 grams of white fondant, approximately 20 grams of ivory color fondant, some gel food coloring and Ovaniz sculpting tools. We are getting a lot of questions asking us about the fondant we are using in our tutorials, so I'm going to leave you the link for the best suitable fondant for sculpting in the description box down below. And before we get started, I would like to point out that there are two kinds of fondant faces we can attach to the figures we are making today. The first one is the regular cartoon-like character, and you can have a free tutorial of it on our website. And the second one is a portrait character, a photo to fondant premium tutorial at ovaniz.com. With this tutorial you can learn to sculpt your loved one character copied from a picture and transform them into any baseball player or other character they like. First, we are going to make the shoes. So for the shoes, we need to take 2 small pieces of white fondant, 4 grams each, roll them in between your hands into an oval shape, and using your index finger, press down and create a shoe shape just like so. With the bolt tool, create an indentation where the leg is going to be. And the purpose of this indentation is more to give the shoe the right shape, whether the leg is going to be there. It just gives the shoe the right shape. Now, in this particular tutorial, we're going to leave the shoe as is like this and do not make any additional details because we're going to paint them at the end. And of course, repeat the same with the second shoe. Next, we're going to make the legs. For the legs, we're going to use 100 grams of white fondant. And what we're going to do is to roll out the fondant into a long rope shape when we have this thick piece in the middle and it gets thinner on the ends. Now we're going to bend it in the middle. And as you can see, it already looks like legs. Now we're going to give it a little bit more of shaping. So first we're going to shape the upper part. When using light fondant, if you don't want all kind of bits and pieces to stick to it, you can use corn flour and it prevents of all kind of dirt to stick to the fondant. Press the top part on the working surface to flatten it. And you should get something that looks like this. Use the veining tool or your fingers to create the bottom, just to give it a little bit more of shape and definition. Pinch out a knee, approximately in the middle of the leg. At the bottom of the pens, make an indentation using the ball tool. You are making the fondant thinner on the edges, and this way we can make it look like a real edge of the pen. Now, before we are going to add the details to our pens, we are going to insert the skewers into the legs. So very carefully, so you don't distort the legs. With the circular motions, insert the skewer. Do it very slowly and carefully, and see that you're maintaining the skewer in the middle. Make sure that you leave enough of the skewer to insert into the base or into the cake, and take into consideration the shoes, of course. So I think that you need something like at least 4 centimeters. Otherwise, the skewers won't hold the figure in place. Now that the skewers are in place, I like to add some details to the pens. So first of all, we're marking where the belt is going to be. A little bit more of definition at the bum area. Now with the stitching tool, I create stitches on the pens. With the veining tool, I'm drawing, as to speak, the pockets. And next, with the veining tool again, I'm adding some folds in the pens than where they usually going to be, so all kind of creases in the knee area, behind the knee. I like to add those folds and creases because I think it gives more of a realistic look to the figure. The zipper stitching. And again, just adding all kind of folds and creases in the pens to give them more realistic and flowing look. So this is it for now for the pens. You can set them at the foam base to set, and we're going to add some details later with the gel food coloring. Next we're going to make the body, and for the body we're using 80 grams of white fondant. And we're starting by shaping the fondant into a rounded rectangle. And afterwards we're shaping the shoulders and make it thinner at the waist area. Make sure to create an indent at the lower back. Don't leave it flat, create something like this, but not too much. Next we're going to take a small piece of ivory color fondant, roll it into a cylinder shape, and we're going to make a neck. So just roll it in between your fingers. Cut off some excess and attach it on top of the body in the middle. Now using the Dresden tool, attach the neck to the body by pushing the ivory colored fondant on top of the white, because we need to create an illusion that we see some body out of the shirt. Now that the neck is in place, we're going to add some details to the shirt. So take a small piece of white fondant, roll it out very thinly, cut out a thin stripe, and glue it using some water around the neck and make a V shape. Cut out the excess fondant. Next, roll out another thin stripe like this and glue it using some water in the middle of the shirt. And to make the buttons, just create tiny dots of white fondant and again with the water glue them to the stripe. We're going to make the arms, and for the arms we're going to use 9 grams of ivory colored fondant for each arm. So roll the 9 grams of fondant in between your hands into a long rope shape when you have one end thicker and one end thinner. Bend it over approximately in the middle, pinch out an elbow. Create the hand by pressing the end of the arm with the finger and cutting out the fingers. Very gently round them with your fingers. Muscles to the arm just by rolling it in between your fingers very gently. And repeat with the second arm. Now I want to add some details to the arms. They have this protective gear, so on one of the arms I'm going to make an elbow protector. So just take a piece of any dark colored fondant you have. We're going to paint it black later. Roll it in between your fingers into this oval shape and attach it to the elbow area. And afterwards roll out the fondant, cut out some thin stripes and attach them around the arm. To make the sleeves, we're going to take a small piece of white fondant, roll it out very thinly, cut out 2 rectangles, and wrap them around the arms. And now we're ready to assemble our figure, so take out the skewers out of the foam base, insert the shoes, although the fondant is already set, be very careful so you don't squish the fondant in any way. Next, insert the body on top of the skewers, again very carefully, not to squish or distort anything. Using the veining tool, create those stripes and folds and indentations in the bottom of our body to make it look as if the shirt is tucked into the belt and into the pants. I'm adding more of some indentations into the shirt again to make it look like it's loosely sitting on the torso. Don't add too much, just where usually you get some folds on the shirts. For the belt, roll out a small piece of white fondant, cut out a long thin stripe, and using some water, glue it in between the pants and the shirt. Cut off some excess, and we will color it black later. Of course, you can roll out a piece of small black fondant and make it black already. Either way, it's okay. Next, we're going to attach the hands, and you can use either a toothpick or a flower wire as I'm using, and we're going to insert it into the shoulders like so to support the weight of the arms. By the way, it is always important to tell people that there are some not edible pieces in the figure, like the skewers or the toothpicks, and you need to inform people about this. So just insert the arms on the wires or the toothpicks, and using small amount of water and the Dresden tool, we're going to blend the arm and the body together. So just gently stroking motions, and with water we're blending them, the seam between the body and the arm. And very importantly, you need to use a very small amount of water because you don't want to make a fondant paste there. You just want to glue the arms together with the body and be able to blend the fondant together. For the baseball bat, I took a small piece of brown fondant and rolled it in between my hands when one side is thicker, one side is thinner. I don't think that anybody needs an explanation on how a baseball bat looks. So when you get it into the right shape, cut off some excess if it's too long and insert a wire in the middle to help it keep the shape until it sets. And for the final touch, I painted our details such as the shoes and the belt and made all the details on the uniform. Now at this point, of course, you do not have to do it the same as I did. You can pick your favorite baseball team and just copy their uniform, or your kids' baseball team, or use your imagination. Now, after we finished with painting the details, we need to insert our baseball bat into the hands. And I'm using a small piece of flower wire and inserting it into the bat and into the fondant figure just to keep it in place. So that's it, our fondant baseball player figure is ready. And as I said at the beginning of the video, there are two kinds of heads that you can put on this fairy figure. The first one is the simple and the regular one, and you can find the video on how to make it on our channel. The link is going to be here down below. And for the second option, and I'm really excited to talk about it because this is the best seller at Ovaniz.com, this is the premium tutorial on making a portrait out of fondant. Okay, this is a product that changed the birthday cake and celebration cake entirely. And just imagine seeing your loved one's face when he sees himself on a cake. You can make your child, you can make your husband, you can make a celebrity, you can make your child's head on a superhero's body. The possibilities are endless, and this is a truly amazing product. So thank you for watching this tutorial. All the details are in the description box down below and at ovaniz.com. If you want to watch more tutorials about fondant figures, and you guys like us have a passion for cake fondant decoration, we invite you to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. This was Eve from Ovaniz. See you in the next video.